Yo, what's up? It's Chris over at Breezy's Gaming Corner, and today I want to discuss with you guys my top 10 favorite locations in Fallout New Vegas. Now, we all know Fallout New Vegas has hundreds upon hundreds of locations. Some of them are definitely cooler than others, and I'd go to argue that there are a handful of locations that just stand way above some of the rest that are in the game, and those are the ones that we're going to talk about in today's video. And just a little disclaimer, everything in this video is all personal preference, none of it is fact by any means. If your favorite location did not make it into today's video, it doesn't mean that it's a bad location. It just means that for me personally, I found these other 10 locations to be better. And by all means, if I didn't list your location, let me know how crazy I am for it in the comments below. I love hearing what you guys have to say. And while I'm on that topic, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to drop a like as it greatly helps the channel out a ton. And if you like weekly videos about RPGs or just gaming related content in general, be sure to subscribe. I do post weekly and I try to post shorts as much as I can. So with all that being said, let's not delay any further. Let's get right into my top 10 favorite locations in Fallout New Vegas. So kicking things off at number 10, we have Lake Mead. I really like this location because of the bomber that's at the bottom of the lake. I think it's really cool that you can swim around it and just find stuff at the bottom. There's not many bodies of water in the Mojave wasteland anyways, so just the ability to swim is pretty cool. Like any location in the game, you can pretty much go here whenever, but most players are going to discover it during the Boomer questline when you have to raise the bomber from the bottom of the lake, which mind you is probably one of my favorite quests in the game. The reason for it being at the very bottom of the list is that it's just a lake. There's really not much else to the location besides the bomber, but I do think it's super cool, so I had to put it on the list. At number 9, we got the crashed UFO. It's located right behind the Horowitz farmstead, a little bit north of the New Vegas Strip. Now, like Lake Mead, the reason why this is towards the bottom of the list is because outside of the core reason I enjoy the location, there is really not much else here. But boy, am I a sucker for aliens. I just love the concept, even outside of Fallout. I just love the idea of life outside of this planet, whether it's in movies, gaming, whatever. So you could already imagine that in any Fallout game I play, I always make it a point to find the crashed UFO. And your efforts are never in vain either, because after defeating the aliens outside of the ship, you pretty much always get a powerful alien blaster out of it. Sometimes in my playthroughs of New Vegas, I'll literally go straight to the UFO just so I can have a powerful weapon to get me through the beginning of the game easier. Other than that though, there's really not much else to this location, hence it being at number 9. At number 8, we got Good Springs, and I know there are a lot of cooler locations in this game than Good Springs, but this one just hits home for me. I mean, it is the first location that you start out at in the game, so it's easy to just relate Good Springs to New Vegas as a whole. But what I think makes it really cool is that it's actually based on a real-life location like many other places in this game. And last year I actually had the luxury to go out there myself while I was driving through Nevada on a road trip with my family. I even got to meet the real-life Easy Pete as well. I had no clue that Easy Pete was based off a real-life character at this point in my life. I was just in the Pioneer Saloon trying to buy some merchandise. I was then approached by Easy Pete and he talked with me about the game for a few minutes, and then we took pictures together and then I left. It was such a cool and surreal experience, and to be honest, a lot of that is why Good Springs even made it on this list to begin with. Before going out there, Good Springs was not even close to being my favorite location of the game, but it just really hits home for me now, and personally, it just gives me a warm feeling inside, so it definitely had to be put on the list. At number 7, we got the quiet mountain settlement of Jacobstown, which is home to the super mutant Marcus from Fallout 2. He even mentions the Chosen One if asked.
Was part of the super mutant army. Ran a town, walked the wasteland with the tribal. Now I'm here.
Fallout 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, so any love shown to it is a win in my book. And I also really love the scenery. It's on a secluded mountaintop where you have to take a windy road to get up there. It's snowy, it's got trees, and honestly, this is the most diverse location in the entire game. It's also where you have to go to help get Rex's brain fixed, and he's one of my favorite companions in the game. There's some cool questing to be done here too. All in all, this is a really solid location, and it stands very solidly at number 7. At number 6, we have Novak, and if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the only reason Novak is on this list is because of the dinosaur. I remember as a kid when I picked this game up from GameStop, I looked at the back of the case and I saw the dinosaur and I thought it was really cool. When I finally got there in the game, I remember feeling a little bit of disappointment just because of how small the dinosaur actually was, and there really wasn't a lot to it. But Boone is such a cool companion, and I do think it's really cool that the mouth of the dinosaur is pretty much just a sniper's nest. And I also really enjoy the quest where you have to try and find the person that was responsible for selling Boone's wife to Caesar's Legion. And it ended up being that old bitch, who would have known. And this is also the location where you're given the quest Come Fly With Me, where you have to go to the Repcon launch facility. I actually just made a video about it, which you could watch right here. Novak is also the town where you can meet Nobark Noonan, and there was a theory in the community for quite some time that Nobark Noonan was actually the chosen one from Fallout 2. Novak is also pretty close to the crashed highwayman, so it does make sense, but I do think that this myth was debunked. Either way, Novak is a super iconic location, and I'm pretty sure I don't have to convince you guys why it's on this list. Alright, we're breaking into top 5 territory, and at number 5, I got Nellis Air Force Base. This location is home to the Boomers, which is one of my favorite factions in the game. They're essentially just a bunch of vault dwellers who escaped their vault and ended up taking shelter inside this Air Force base. In order to keep themselves protected from the deadly dangers of the wasteland, they kill anything on sight with heavy artillery. This location is also home to some really good side quests, some of the funniest that you can find in the game, and it all culminates with you raising the World War II bomber out of Lake Mead. It's a really iconic moment, and honestly, I'll never forget this location. And if you do end up helping out the Boomers and get on really good standing with them, when you're fighting at the Hoover Dam, the bomber will actually fly over and help you out, and it's really, really cool. I don't have much more to say about this location, but it's definitely one of my favorites, and it holds its spot firm at number 5. At number 4, we got Black Mountain, and to be honest, I just really love where this is located. It's on the centralmost mountain of the Mojave, and at the top you could pretty much see the whole map depending on where you're standing. And I really do like the quest as well. It involves a super mutant named Tabitha who sends out these unhinged broadcasts across the Mojave. Now you could kill her to end the broadcast, or if you want to do things peacefully, Tabitha is actually really depressed that her little robot friend has been dead. She hasn't been able to get the robot fixed, so if your repair is high enough and you fix the robot, Tabitha will be happy and she'll leave and everything ends peacefully.
Rhonda? Is that you? I don't know how to thank you for bringing Rhonda back to me, stranger. Here, take this. I won't be needing it anymore.
Now, I love the wackiness in all the Fallout games, and this delivers a lot of that, but honestly, I just think the climb to the top is also really epic. You're essentially going up this windy path and having to fight a bunch of super mutants on the way up there. All in all, this is a super cool location, and I make it a point to go to Black Mountain and do the quests every single time I play Fallout New Vegas. And I feel like for that reason alone, it deserved a spot on this list, so here it is at number 4. At number 3, I got Vault 11, and I could tell you right now, it is not on this list because of how this area looks, because it's actually very drab, but it has some of the best environmental storytelling in the entire game. Now, I'm not going to get too much into it because I plan to make an entire video dedicated to the story of Vault 11, but the rundown of it is that overseers get sacrificed in a sacrificial chamber. The citizens are told that the mainframe of the vault will kill everybody unless a yearly sacrifice is made. It's been decided that the overseer of the vault will be the one that is sacrificed that year, so yearly elections are carried out to essentially determine who's going to be the overseer and the next sacrifice. As you can imagine, this election works a lot differently than normal elections. Candidates are trying to convince the populace why to not elect them rather than to elect them. This is evident by all the political posters scattered across the vault, as well as some logs found within some of the terminals. And then there's Kate Stone. Her husband ended up being chosen as one of the candidates for the next election for overseer, and Kate didn't want her husband to become overseer and die. So she talked with some members of the election board who said that they would take him off the ballots if she slept with the entire committee, which she did. Her husband still ended up being put on the ballot, so in retaliation she killed members of the board, hoping to essentially take her husband's place as overseer as punishment. And that's exactly what happened. Kate ended up becoming the overseer, and while as overseer she essentially ended political elections as a whole. Now, the mainframe will pick numbers, and whoever is selected on that number randomly will be the overseer and the sacrifice. It's a lot more fair, a lot more even, and it avoids all the drama. However, once making it to the mainframe of the vault, it's discovered that this was all just a test put in place by Vault Tech. The vault dwellers were never supposed to sacrifice their fellow man. This was all just a test in humanity, and the reward, if they went a year without sacrificing anybody, the vault doors would be open and they would be allowed the freedom to come and go as they please. This has got some of the best storytelling that you could find in New Vegas, and it's not even a marked quest. Everything I just told you was found off of terminals and logs and just environmental storytelling. I think that's super impressive, so for that reason, this firmly sits at number 3. At number 2, we got Helios 1. Honestly, this has a really cool exterior design. You could be walking pretty much anywhere in the wasteland, see that big tower, and think, you know what, I kinda wanna see what's up with that. This location just screams, come explore me. And once you finally decide to and you make your way inside, you end up with a quest where you're tasked with fixing some solar panels so that you can divert power to a faction of your choosing or everybody in the wasteland. Or you could choose to overload the power, essentially resulting in nobody getting the electricity. Or on top of that, you could divert all the power to a little death laser named Archimedes. Seeing that big blue beam of light come down from the heavens and annihilate the NCR is just something that you're not gonna get in the entirety of the Mojave Wasteland. Now, do I recommend activating Archimedes? Hell no. But I think it's cool that the choice is there, and honestly, after seeing that big blue beam of light come from the heavens and rain down death on the NCR, it's just not something you're likely to forget anytime soon. This area offers immense choice and consequence, which is the bread and butter of Fallout New Vegas, and honestly, I think it does it really well here, which is why it sits firmly at the number 2 spot. And sitting at number 1 is the Lucky 38. Now, this location is just as iconic can get. You're probably not even surprised that this is what my number 1 pick was. You could see it throughout the entire Mojave Wasteland, it's on the box art of the game, and to be honest, when I first played this back when I was like 11 years old, this was the first location I wanted to go to. This is also the location of one of my favorite characters in the entire game, Mr. House. I just think he's so cool. He was alive since before the bombs fell, and he's made it all this way, essentially trapping himself inside of a computer while his real body hibernates. And I think it's really cool because granted it's part of the main story, but you could actually find Mr. House and kill him, or you can help him take over New Vegas as a whole. And no matter which choice you make, the fate of the Mojave Wasteland lies within the walls of the Lucky 38, and if you ask me, that's pretty badass. What about you guys? How are you feeling about this list? Do you agree with it? Are there certain locations I left out? Are there certain locations that I put in that you think are just ridiculous and should not be on this list? Let me know in the comments below. I really do love what you guys have to say. And if you found any enjoyment in this video whatsoever, please be sure to drop a like. It greatly helps the channel out as a whole, and I greatly appreciate it. I don't take you for granted. And if you like RPGs or gaming related content as a whole, be sure to subscribe because I do post videos weekly and I upload shorts as much as I can. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and take great care of yourselves. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.